Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to lecture number 6 of research methodology. In this lecture, we will discuss the remaining part of the literature review. We will discuss in this lecture how to write the literature review. It is in continuation of our previous lecture in which we discussed the format of literature review or the steps of literature review. Let me recall that lecture that in the steps of the literature review, we first identify the key terms for the search. The key terms helps us in locating the literature. Once you locate the literature, then we critically evaluate and select the relevant literature, because we can find a huge amount of literature on internet, in the libraries, and in the other through the other sources. But we select the relevant literature. Once we select the written literature, then we organize them, and as we discussed in the lecture number 5, that we can organize the literature in different ways. It can be by headings, subheadings, by the authors, alphabetical order, etc. So our today's lecture is in continuation of those steps, in which the last step is how to write the literature review. We will also discuss the summary of one paper versus the review of many papers under one theme, gap finding, and issues related to make the research gap. So once you identify the key terms, you locate the literature, you organize the literature, the next and the final step becomes how to write this literature as a part of your research study, whether it is a research article or it is a PhD dissertation or MPhil dissertation or some other type of the report. So this lecture we will discuss in detail how to write the literature review. After scanning the literature to find its relevance, abstracting it and organizing it, the next step is to write the actual summary of the literature. Usually the literature consists of journal articles and research reports. We discussed in the last lecture as well that we take the research from the journal articles, we take the literature from different journals, from the books, or from the research reports. A proper procedure is adopted for it, providing a clear reference to it and writing its review. When we write the review, there is a proper procedure in which we quote the proper reference, like see in this slide that for this slide the reference has been given. Separate headings are developed for different sections and subsections. The whole literature can be divided into sections and subsections depending upon the nature of the study. For each literature review, a style manual is used. The material quoted in the literature needs proper reference. An accepted style manual should be used in writing these references. Headings, tables, figures, and the overall format should be also written as per manual style. It is necessary to write the literature according to a standard format, like the APA format or Chicago manual, or there are a large number of other formats available as well. A style manual, we do so because this helps the readers to understand, to read, to get ideas from the literature in an easy way. So a style manual provides a structure for citing references. If you use a proper style manual, then you will cite the references in a common format, a proper format. The headings will be in a proper format, same format, and the tables and figures will all the figures will be in the same format. If proper style manual is used, it will be convenient for all readers and researchers, as all references and tables will be in single format. If no style manual is used, then the researcher will find it, the readers will find it difficult to understand, because maybe different tables may be in different format, the different figures may be in different format, and it will be difficult for the researchers to search those articles or those sources through the internet or in the library if it is not according to the format, because a style manual provides complete details. For example, the publication manual of the American Psychological Association, 6th edition, now the 7th edition is also available. The APA 2010 or the 7th edition recently introduced can also be used for the referencing. Chicago Manual of Style, the 15th edition, can also be used, or which one is the requirement of the study, requirement of the paper, research article, requirement of the PhD thesis, MPhil thesis, are as wished by the university, by the article editor, by the journal editor, or etc. Three of the most frequently used approaches found in the publication manual of American Psychological Association, APA 2010, will be discussed in this lecture. This is end of text reference, means how to write references at the end of the research article or of the thesis or of the report within the text reference and headings. End of text references. These are the references listed at the end of a research report. In each and every thesis, in each and every research article, journal articles or report, you will see a reference list at the end. This list is called end of text references. So as we discussed, that we can find a list of references at the end of each article. For example, look at this article, the contribution of education to economic growth, evidence from Pakistan. It's a research article. The abstract, introduction, the body, the model, the conclusion, and it is the reference list according to some format. So end of text, these are the end of text references. In APA format, the references are written double-spaced and listed alphabetically. It includes only the references mentioned in the text or thesis. The APA manual provides examples of most common kinds of end of text references. Three common types of references in APA format are given below. A journal article, end of text reference. This is the name of author followed by the year of publication, the title of the paper or article, the name of the journal, volume, issue, and the page numbers. This is for single author. It's an example for a book written by two authors. Fundamentals of Guidance, the 4th edition, place of publication. Similarly, the third type, we discussed the journal article, then the book, and now the conference paper, authors' names, year, month, title, place. Dear students, we will discuss the EPA format in detail later on at I think the last 15th or 16th lecture. So it's just a way to show you how to write the literature review. So this is an examples of the end of text references. So while writing the literature, we quote the references in the text as well, which are called within text references. Let me show you the examples. So we are taking example of this literature review, talking about the within text references. Look at this text we see here. The literature of the exogenous growth theories start from model developed by Solo 1956 and the Swan 1956. We just see we can see here. Look at this. Similarly, we see Case and Koopman extended the new classical growth model by introducing consumer optimization, but still long-run economic growth remained dependent exogenous progress. This is another example. We see here the another example of the within text references. Similarly, Young 1992 used the methodology as developed by Gallup and this Jorgensen 1980 to calculate the growth of TP in Singapore and Hong Kong during 1990. It's an example of the reference quoting references in the text. Nehru and Ashok 1994 explored some new estimates of TFP for a sample of 83 countries. This is another example. We see a reference here. We can see here this is quotation of one reference. This is within text other reference. We see on the other page as well. You see references in the text here too. We see a reference in the text here too. Sorry. This is another reference quoted within the text. So set of the references which we write in the text are known as within text references. Coming back to the topic, the within text reference, these are the references cited in the brief format within the body of the text in papers and theses. The following example illustrates the appropriate use of APA style when you cite both single and multiple authors. These are the examples of using. If you start the sentence with the author name, in case of a single author, we write it like Rogers 1994 compared reaction times for athletes and non-athletic in middle schools. We see that you will write the reference in this format if you start the sentence with the author, and if the author is single one, you write the author last name and then the year of publication in the bracket. Similarly, if there are two authors, then we, for example, this Curines and Smith 2009 demonstrated. So you start if you start the sentence with the name of the author, then we write it in this way. Similarly, there can be multiple authors, and the multiple authors can be quoted as you see in this slide. Let me show more examples of the within text references this. We see here in this example, we see here Ahmad 2007 suggested rapid domestic investment, losing the private credit, enhancing trade and more expenditure on education to reap the fruits of economic growth. It's a sentence taken from a literature review of a thesis. Here the reviews, the sentence starts with the name of the author, so we write the name and followed by the year of publication, and then the summary of the paper is what you want to write, what you want to promote, but the way is to start it in this way. Similarly, in case of a single author, you can, if you start it in this way, start the sentence with the author name, then we write it in this way. We write the author's name followed by we highlight it. Yes, the author name by followed by year of publication and whatever he narrated, what you want to write. Similarly, in case of single author, if you write the name of the author, give the name of the author at the end of that sentence or that statement, then you write the reference is written in the bracket as you see here. So this means that if you have a single author, the single author can be quoted in two ways, by writing only year in the bracket or writing both in the bracket, but it depends on the structure of the sentence. Similarly, in case of the more than few authors, multiple authors, there are different ways to write it, and it is one of the way to present the multiple authors. And one way you see here in this slide how the multiple authors have been quoted. So dear students, after the writing references at the end and within the text, the next step in the writing the literature review is the level of headings. As you know, write a literature review, consider the number of topics or the subdivisions in your review. The level of headings, the number of headings depend on the nature of your topic. Level of headings in a scholarly study and literature review provide a logical subdivision of the text. Headings make the literature easy and they can easily understand a study. They also divide the material in the same way as the topics in an outline. This slide shows, it has been taken from Criswell 2012. There are 5 types of the headings in APS 6th style. The first head, level 1, can be centered, boldface, upper and lower case heading. Just we will give the examples in the next slide too. The level 2 can be flush left, boldface, upper and lower case headings, level 2. Level 3 can be indented, boldface, lowercase paragraph, heading ending with a period. Fourth level can be indented, boldface, italicized, lowercase paragraph, heading ending with a period. And the level 5 can be indented, italicized, lowercase paragraph, heading ending with period. This can be level 5. These 5 headings differ in their use: upper and lower case letters, in centered, left adjusted, indented words, and in italics. Most of the studies contain 2 or 3 level of headings. 4th and 5th are rarely used. So we will discuss here just the first and the second and third level of headings, as the fourth and fifth are rarely used. In case of some books, 5 levels of headings can be appropriate, but mostly 2 or 3 level of headings are used. The choice of heading depends on the number of subdivision of topics used. APA style requires that you use certain types of headings for 2, 3, 4 or 5 level of format. Here we see in this the level 1 heading. So for example, we write the literature review. This is the example of the centered. You see it in the center of the page. It is boldface, and this has been written in the upper case and lower case. So such type of heading is called level 1 heading. The level 2 heading, you see that it is flush left, and it is a boldface, uppercase and lowercase. Let me show you the examples as well. This is the example of the level 1 heading, which is centered, boldface, and let me convert it into lowercase as well. Similarly, it is an example of the level 2 heading. Level 1 centered, level 2 flush left, indented, level 3. So this is the way. If all the literature headings are written in this way, then it will be easy for the reader, for the researchers to read it out. Writing strategies. Literature review is written by taking into account elements like the extent of the review, the type of review, and concluding statement of the review. First we come to extent of review. Mostly a question comes into mind: how long my literature review should be? Most of researchers find it difficult to answer. The literature review depends on type of the topic. For dissertation and thesis, an extensive review of literature is needed, including all sources of information identified in the classification of resources. For dissertation and thesis, we need huge, extensive review, long review, but for research plans or proposals, less comprehensive review is required. How far back in the literature do my references need to go? Once you find out whether the review should be extensive or little comprehensive, then next question arises: how back should be the period? For the dissertation and for the thesis, the review covers most published literature till the inception of the research topic, but for research proposals and journal articles, usually the last 10 review is enough. Types of review, literature review. When we review the literature, then we can review the literature in thematic, as a thematic review of literature, or study by study review. In the thematic type of review, the researcher identifies a theme and briefly cites the literature to document this theme. In this research, the author discusses only the major ideas or results from the studies rather than detail of a single study. It is used in journal articles, but some students also use it for dissertation and thesis. For example, in a study by Brown, Parham and Yonker, 1996, the authors reviewed the literature about racial identity development of white counselors in training in a course of racial identity teachers of white women and men. In this review, a theme has been presented. Study by study review of the literature. This review provides a detailed summary of each study grouped under a broad theme. This form of review typically appears in journal articles that summarize the literature and dissertation and thesis. When presenting a study-by-study review, the authors link summaries by using transition sentences, and they organize the summaries under subheadings that reflect themes and major themes. Concluded statement of review or finding gap in the literature. This is the final stage of the writing literature review, and it is very, very important because here we at the end we describe the purpose of the review, and here we see whether we have achieved the purpose, we have achieved our objective or not. How to end a literature review section in a study? The concluded statement of literature review serves several purposes. It summarizes the major themes found in the literature. It provides a rationale for the need for your study and importance of the research problem. When we review the literature, we find major themes found in the literature relevant to your topic. Then we summarize the major themes and find the major results and findings from all studies reviewed. We get the results and findings from all the papers, all the books, all the articles, and then we summarize each of them, and the summaries emphasize the major ideas under each major heading in the literature review and highlight what the reader needs to remember from summary of the review. Then we give reasons why the current literature is deficient. We find the deficiency in the literature, what is missing in the literature, and why educators need additional research on the topic. At the end of the literature, we find the gap, and we have to convince the educators, we have to convince the readers why we have carried out this study, why we are carrying out this study. Then we justify the study on the basis of literature review. These reasons address ways that the proposed study will aid to the knowledge and justify the importance of the research problem. Typically, writers mention 3 or 4 reasons that play a significant role in research because they often lead into purpose statement, research question, and hypothesis. This is very important because at the end of the review, we state the gap. We describe what is deficient in the literature and why the study in hand is undertaken. We justify our study on the basis of a deficiency in the literature. Dear students, I hope you may have picked up the idea of writing the literature review. So thank you very much. This material has been taken from Criswell 2012. So for details, read this book, Criswell JW 2012, Education Research, Planning, Conducting, and Evaluating Quantitative and Qualitative Research.